Okay, hi guys. I wanted to do a video in response to this video that I have got at right now about 65,000 views on. And it's a two-part video, and I didn't realize how many views I was going to get on it, or I would have done it more, I probably would have done it in two parts. And I get so many questions constantly, like 5 questions a day on this video, so I wanted to do a video in which I responded to the questions and just answered all of your questions. So this is the video. Okay, so the first thing that I should say is that I should have done this video really in 2 parts, because I really do 2 things with Brittany's hair, because it needed it, because she had dyed her hair, like she had felt like her hair was really blotchy, so she had dyed her hair all over like a dark, almost like blackish brown color like the day before, and then she wanted me to highlight her hair blonde the next day, and I was like, you can't do that. So I wanted to strip her hair, meaning like I wanted to take all the excess color, because when you dye your hair like dark, it's gonna leave, think about like, okay, when you dye your hair dark, you're adding color, and when you bleach your hair, you're removing color. So when she had dyed her hair dark, I wanted to remove that excess dark color so that I wouldn't have to lift even more color with the bleach. I wanted to have removed as much color as possible, so it's ideal to like dye your hair and then wait a couple weeks or a month or however long and then bleach your hair. So the point is, you don't have to strip your hair and bleach your hair, which is what we did with Brittany in the video. So stripping your hair, so part 1 is just stripping your hair, part 2 is bleaching your hair. You don't need to do both. If you want an all over, just like to naturally lighten your hair, or if you dye your hair and you feel like it's too dark or whatever, you can just strip your hair. Bleaching your hair or highlighting your hair is what I do. I actually have a video that I'll link showing you how to like just like freestyle highlight your hair, but that's more for like streaks of blonde that are like, look at how like white this is, like that's bleached. So here's some of the questions that I get about the stripping of the hair. So stripping of the hair is what ratio do I use and what exactly do I use in my mixture. So what you want to do is you want to be using a dry laundry detergent, not OxyClean, not a liquid detergent, not any of that. You want to be using a dry, gritty laundry detergent. I would recommend Sunlight or Tide. If you don't want to go and buy a big thing of laundry detergent, a lot of laundromats will have like the coin thing where for less than $1 you can get a little one, and that's all you need. That's more than you need. Or you can usually go to like a variety store and get a little one for less than $1 again. That's what we use. It's more than enough. The second part is Head & Shoulders we use, or any dandruff shampoo. So you want to use a dandruff shampoo. It can be the no-name stuff. And what you want to do is you want to mix equal parts. Now, it's not an exact science. If you know, your hair is not going to explode if you mix a little bit more of one and a little bit less of the other. It's approximately equal parts. You want it to be smooth enough that all of the powder is broken up, but just that much. So you want it to be just enough to break up the powder and make it a smooth consistency. Okay, so I always get the question, will this damage my hair? Yes, this probably will damage your hair a little bit. To me, I can bleach the hell out of my hair. My hair is naturally blonde, so I find that it's easier to lift and bleach naturally blonde hair. But it will damage your hair to a point. I find, 5 days later, I just condition my hair and it's totally back to normal. But initially, just like any stripping or removing or bleaching of your hair, it's going to be a little bit drier for the next few days. I'd say the darker your hair is, or the coarser, or, the more fragile your hair is, the more it's going to damage your hair. For me, I would say, even less than 5 days, like 2 or 3 days later, I just did a deep conditioning and it was fine. So it will damage your hair to a point, but my hair did not like break or anything like that. Will this work if you're on a natural color? No, it won't really work on a natural color. It's more of a process of how to lift dye out of your hair, especially if you go and get your hair dyed or you dye your hair and it's just too dark. This is a great tip if you just find that your hair is just too dark. You kind of like the color, but it's just, a shade or two too dark. That's actually how I originally found out about this trick, was because I dyed my hair and it was just a couple shades too dark. yeah, it won't really work if you have like black hair. I wouldn't recommend, if your hair is naturally black, doing this. It's not going to do anything. It's just going to fucking damage your hair. I mean, crap it, damage your hair. Is this permanent? Yeah, it's permanent. If you remove color, it's not going to magically be there tomorrow when you wake up. So yes, if you strip your hair, it is going to be permanent. And just over time, your hair is naturally, it's basically just speeding up the process that over a course of like 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a month or whatever of washing and shampooing your hair and the sunlight getting on your hair, it would naturally fade out. You're just speeding up the process. What if your hair is orange, or if you like dye your hair dark and then you find that you bleach your hair and it's too orangey? Well, I would say leave your hair on, leave your dye on longer so it isn't orange, you bad boy or girl, and it would work. I wouldn't really recommend it because you're just going to put damage on it and then you're eventually going to have to bleach your hair anyway, so I would just skip that step and just go right to bleaching your hair. So then let's move on to what could have been or should have been part 2, which is the actual bleaching or the capping process. So in this video I did do a capping process, but you don't have to do capping. You can also do a freehand highlighting. So I get asked all the time what I'm exactly using. So I live in Ontario, Canada, and I am using Blondisma. And actually I think in the video I'm using Frost and Glow, but pretty much the point is that Blondisma by Revlon, I think, and then L'Oreal's Frost and Glow are pretty much the exact same product. If you're having trouble finding them, they're often on the very, very bottom shelf, and it's like a girl like that looks like this, like she's just like, like she's like, her eyes are closed and like her hair is like this, and it almost looks wet. So that's the packaging. It's not really fancy packaging, so it may kind of like not impress you, but that's what you want. It's just like 100% bleach. It's just gonna lift the hell out of your hair. So Frost and Glow or Blondisma. Blondisma, I like it better. I just like saying Blondisma. Okay, I get asked a lot about if this will work for me if my hair is black. To be honest, I have never really, you know, dyed someone's hair who's like jet black, bleached it myself. I've done really dark hair and it's worked. Like Britney's hair was pretty darn dark, but I've never done natural black hair. So I don't know, and I would probably recommend going to a hair salon if you have black hair and you want to go bleach blonde. I'm naturally blonde, so it's really hard for me to say. How would I touch the roots up after this? And this is usually the way that I do my hair, is I either cap it or I just do a freehand and try and create the illusion of a cap, because I find with caps sometimes I don't get the like right to the root. Anyways, unfortunately, it's kind of like a process of what I'll do is I'll just like maybe 2 or 3 times I'll just cap it or highlight it just normally, and then once it starts to get too blonde, I'll dye it all a shade or 2 darker, like maybe like this natural dark color here. I'll dye my whole head that color, and then wait a couple days, because it's not like an extremely dark color, so I only have to wait like a day, and then I'll bleach it like a day or 2 later, and then I'll just start the process again, and then once it gets too blonde, I'll dye it all dark again, and by dark I mean like this color, and then I will just start highlighting it, like highlight it, and then wait a couple months till my root comes, highlight it, wait a couple months till my root comes, highlight it, and then I will get too blonde, and then continue the process. And last question but not least question is, who is the singer that is singing in the video? And I have to admit, it's a dear friend of mine. Her name is Amy Pitt, and she is a local singer here in Toronto. And she put out this amazing album. Honestly, it's such a good album. Like, to be honest, when she's like, oh, I'm gonna put out an album, and I really hadn't heard a lot of her stuff, I'm like, great. Like, I'm just like, ugh. Even like a lot of musicians that had airtime put out horrible albums. And then I heard her album and I was just like, it's so good. It's seriously so good. So I'll put a link and put a link to some of her songs. So yeah, so thank you so much. I can't believe I have like 65,000 views on that video. It was like my 10th video too. There's something on my left. And thank you so much. Thanks for all the comments, all the questions, and I hope that this video has helped you with the questions. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.